There are going to be no elk in this matchup.
Oh, heck yeah. Vinny's not Elkin?
Vinny's not elking.
All right.
Did you just answer the is Pioneer going to eat modern question?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, for what I believe, you're certainly welcome to take that on as well. But
Yeah, so my like under 1 minute spiel is Pioneer going to ruin modern? No, in fact, it's probably going to make it better because if you want to buy modern cards in the next month or two, it's
oh,
probably
it's a great time.
when to do it. And there's no like reprint equity in Legacy because any cards that you could reprint that would be worth something in Legacy are going to be legal in EDH or Modern, and so Wizards is just shifting the formats to be Eternal formats cards that they can reprint. So you get like special Modern sets that were going to be really expensive booster packs, but then have Snapcasters in them, but then have a bridge to get to that format through Pioneer instead of it going like standard to modern. That's a pretty big gap there, and then from modern to legacy is also a huge gap. So sort of more bridges between formats and allows players to keep value in their collections if you play standard, because it's pretty disheartening to have to stress out about rotation if you're playing paper standard and worry about your collections losing a lot of value. So I think overall it's like good for everyone. Uh, People are still going to play modern. It's going to be fun, a little bit more accessible if you can buy into it in the next like 2 to 6 months probably, because folks are trying to acquire Pioneer collections. And yeah, the sky isn't falling. Things are fine.
Yeah, the people who got really paid off were the people that were too lazy to sell any cards from standard.
Yeah.
Um, so
uh,
those people made out like bandits, or the people that just got a bunch of smugglers copters. Although we'll see, I would be selling smugglers copters now if I'd packed up a bunch of them.
yeah, I feel like I enjoy that, or maybe enjoy is the wrong word. It's nice. I don't like having a lot of bans, but it's nice that they're leaving the format open and then banning when they see problems. Also, it has the added benefit of really punishing people that like financially speculate on cards from this era, like
Yes,
buying
yeah,
2,000
get them.
smugglers copters. I'm like, I hope that gets banned, and then you have a bunch of doofuses that are like sitting on, like an investment that tanked, and hopefully that'll discourage people from doing that in the future.
Although unfortunately, the smart buyers are probably just liquidating all of their smugglers copters right now that they got for 50 cents at $8, and it's actually just going to be the players that wanted to play the smugglers copters that get burned.
Yeah. Okay, and both players mulligans one. Quentin leads on Scalding Tarn, which if you need Scalding Tarns, now's the time to pick them up.
Do you think so? Even though they're still like what $80 or
Oh, I think they've
something?
gone down from there. Like you can find them a
Really?
lot of times on like Facebook groups, I think for around like 55, $60.
Oh, okay. All right. Now we're talking. I mean, we're talking expensive, but we're not talking 100 and some odd expensive.
Do we think Oko is going to be banned in any format?
Standard. And I
November
think that's
18th,
it.
Oko is going to be banned in standard.
Yeah.
I feel like they're probably not going to ban it in anything else for a
No,
while at least.
agreed. Yeah, 100% agree with you.
Yeah. I've actually been playing. I love playing modern. I've been playing a lot of Pioneer lately too, and it's good there. But it's not too good, and it's definitely
Nah.
not bannable in modern.
Nah.
It's like annoying, but
Yeah, it's not game breaking at all. There's enough powerful things to be doing, and there's enough ways to go way over the top that yeah, it's fine, but it's not. And it is still just as annoying to play against, but yeah, I think it would be, we'd be getting out the pitchforks a little bit too much if we were to suggest that it actually should be banned in modern based on power level at this point.
yeah, I feel like people lately have just been understandably so because Wizards has had a lot of bannings, but like the question is always like, oh, it's this really good card. It should we ban it? Is it gonna get banned? Instead of exploring avenues to maybe like beat the card or strategies that are good against it. And yeah, there was a period of time for like over 5 years where nothing was banned in standard, and bans and moderns were maybe once a year, if that. So, but I think there has been some power creep in play design that has caused some issues. But think if anything gets banned in modern, it's something out of the Whirza decks and probably Urza itself, because Oko kind of pushes those decks over the top into having better mid-range answers if you disrupt their game plan. But I think they're going to take out the, you know, easily like most valuable problematic card. Off my
Right.
soapbox now.
And honestly, I think oftentimes if you can just hold out, Wizards oftentimes does have powerful answers coming in sets that are down the pipeline. It can just be, things can get too bad before we get to those sets. And I'm sure that's a feel bad if you're on Wizards side too, because you're like, if we could just wait. Okay, so it looks like we are on. Are we on?
I think we're on um,
Okay,
four color Whirza.
all right.
I think the needle named Stoneforge.
Interesting.
Although I'm not positive. Vinny knows what Quentin's playing, and I don't think Quentin knew what Vinny was playing when they sat down.
So I did play a match recently against Vinny where he played Teferi and he has the Japanese Teferi and I played Japanese Karn and we both had to look up what our planeswalkers did.
Uh, and so yeah, that you definitely have to counter that Teferi. Um, your deck is built around tempo and interacting with your opponent's cards.
How about that Teferi? Didn't make it onto the battlefield, but it's got long sleeves. But I guess if you're raveling time, it's like way more epic if you've got some real sleeve action going
Yep.
on.
And we're getting a path on the ETB trigger. So you made a 3/3. Could have floated Savannah, but we did not. Vinny on his token game, much appreciated. Looks like we have a Gal Blast and a Pithing Needle left over for Vinny, so not a super strong hand, but Quentin's been stuck on 2 lands for a long time.
Okay, we get Bolt in response to the bobble.
Okay, so Vinny got a little 2-for-1 out of that. Urza there, 8 a path and a bolt. Yes, this is the famous Vinny Balistrieri SCG champion.
The one and only.
I think the only time Vinny played the deck he won the SCG event with, Open, I think it was like the FNM before the thing happened, won
Yep.
the Open, and then like never played it again.
No, he like refuses to play it. I mean, obviously at this point, right, we're like
Yeah.
far beyond it, but I can't imagine seeing Vinny actually go back to red green Eldrazi, even though I actually think like I've seen some red green Eldrazi lists like popping up a little bit, but no, Vinny has not touched the Eldrazi in quite some time.
Okay, so that Pithing Needle's on Stoneforge Mystic, so I'm unsure what the first one is. And
Maybe
yeah, shout out to Kevin. Thanks for joining the stream this evening. Yeah, a lot of regulars stopping by. We really appreciate the views, the engagement in chat. It's nice to see everyone every week.
Okay, so that other Pithy Needle was on Jace, and we are eating it with the Thopter Foundry.
Num num num.
So, Jace is free as soon as Quentin draws.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Well, this should,
That's the game.
yeah. We're not going infinite here, but we're probably going to provide a big enough board presence that Quentin is not going to get out of this. Okay. Wait, that doesn't do any. I mean, I guess
yeah.
Vinny will have to sack the Pithing Needle here.
And then
but,
your Stoneforge can work, yeah?
Yeah, it's true. All right, Vinny's gonna fetch.
Oh, it's hilarious. I think Vinny drew the sword after he'd already sacked the Pithing Needle to make a Thopter. I was gonna say this is like the fairest that I've seen. Like the Whirza deck used Thopter Foundry, but now now we have the combo. And we're one card away from an infinite combo.
Quinn will drop to 13.
Yeah, that's kind of it.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm quitting, I'm probably scooping him up here. So Vinny will take a 1-0 lead, and we'll go to board.
Oh, well, yeah, you really want to curve out when you're playing Jeskai, and it looks like we did not do that.
No, not at all. Getting stuck on 2 lands is a tough way to go. And Vinny had a pretty medium draw, but in this case, Flood actually beat Screw because Quentin never drew out of his Screw.
Yeah, I feel like when you're playing kind of fair matchups, um, a lot of times if you are having mana issues at the beginning of the game, but you have some removal spells, you're going to have the better quality of cards once you start having access to all your mana. But when you're playing against a combo deck, I feel like that equation doesn't work.
Sure, although, combo, I mean, I guess Vinny did have the combo of Thopter Sword at that point.
Plus a lot of lands.
Yeah. Yeah.
The lands are a combo piece in that.
All right, fair enough. So Vinny can actually shave some cards that are pretty bad in the matchup. This Whirza deck is oftentimes playing a number of one-ofs that can be searched for that Vinny will be able to get rid of in favor of more interactive cards. So it looks like Vinny's looking at taking out Ensnaring Bridge, and I believe I saw Damping Sphere as well, likely to come out.
So what are the best cards against the Urza decks? I like, well, you need to, Stony's good. It's not awesome, but sometimes it shuts down access to different colors of mana because they can't use their Astrolabes or Mox Opals. It kind of slows down the deck a little bit. Whirza can pretty handily beat a Stony if you're not putting up any pressure. So you need a combination of a card like Stony, removal for Urza, Path to Exile is great with that, and then some kind of clock, whether that's Stoneforge Mystic plus Batterskull, or a Monastery Mentor, or a Vendilion Click. You need something that's going to be dealing damage to your opponent when you've slowed them down. I've recently gone into, I play a control-y build with Jeskai. I play Stony, but then I also play a Shatterstorm because it's sweet. And it's really good when your opponents make a large army of Thopters, and you probably want some number of surgicals if they're in your sideboard, but I'm not sure I would bring in Rest in Peace. It depends what the rest of your sideboard consists of.
I think it'd be fine to bring in like something like a one of Rest in Peace.
Yeah.
I actually think would be good, but I would not overboard on it. Bringing in 4 Rest in Pieces is not going to get you very far. That's actually this kind of a big strength of these Whirza decks is that they don't just fold. They don't just fold to a piece of hate. And if you're kind of leaning, like let's say you're thinking you can lean on a hand with a Rest in Peace to win, and the hand's pretty poor card quality besides from that, you're probably going to get run over.
I think Rest in Peace is, to respond to chat, I think Rest in Peace is fine. I like Stony better, but the Jeskai list is going to leverage a lot of advantage from Snapcasters. And when you're playing Rest in Peace, you kind of want to accept that an Ambush Viper is going to be good enough to win you the game, or that you're going to get to a mid to late game,
Right.
and your Planeswalkers are going to take over. With Vinny playing Teferis and Urzas, when you shut off access to your graveyard, you're accepting you're playing just a mid-range game with walkers, and I feel like that's just pretty even in that case.
Yep. And you're losing a card to get there, to get to that game state.
Yeah,
So-
and especially if your opponent boards in something like a Sai or a Saheeli, then they're just a better mid-range deck.
yeah, they can juke fairly well. As far as maybe the Simic version being the most solid, I don't have enough. I think we need to wait a little bit to see how things kind of pan out. I think the Simic version obviously did really well in one of the SCGs couple weeks ago because people were not expecting it and weren't looking out for it. Now that it's a known quantity, it will be more interesting to see how people adjust. So the fact that there are a lot of playable versions of the Whirza deck, I think, is actually just a strength for the archetype as a whole, in that players will have trouble knowing exactly what you can throw at them because the deck's playing so many colors that you could be on kind of any number of versions.
I think Simic is kind of hands down the best version just because Oko fills a lot of holes that the deck has, and it's just a generic good card that you can cast pretty easily on turn 2 in the deck. If you look at the most recent Modern Challenge, had like an insane number of Eldrazi Tron decks in the like top 16. I think it was like 6 or something like that. But it feels like the at least the online meta has reacted to the Whirza decks being great, and now is like playing the game of I'm going to go over the top and play a deck that has a really good Whirza matchup. But I think it is one of the best decks, if not like the best deck against the general field out there in Modern. And I do like not relying on outcome as your engine.
Agreed. Yeah, I thought the outcome deck was brilliant and a really cool adaptation to the deck, but maybe not the final form, in that I think it's a little bit more easily disrupted if you know what you're looking to do against the deck. That deck is a lot of air. And I think, most of these Wurza decks are a good bit of air, but especially the outcome deck is a lot of air. Yeah, Vinny's hand looks super solid here. But again, I think if Quentin can get a good mix of cards, I do think a little bit of pressure and then counter spells are very good against this Wurza deck. I mean, Urza is the threat oftentimes. So if Quentin can nab Urza, then I think that with a little bit of pressure, he'll be fine.
So it seems like what I can deduce from this board situation is that Quentin does not play Mystic Sanctuary, because most decks that are playing Mystic Sanctuary nowadays have cut the one of Arid Mesa from the mana base. The Arid Mesa is there as insulation to Blood Moon to fetch basic planes, but now we're on, or the list that play Mystic Sanctuary can't afford to have your fetch lands not fetch a basic island.
Okay. Vinny wants to take a look at Sword of Sinew and Steel, and we will as well.
I mean, if you're gonna play a sweet sideboard card, that's a pretty sweet sideboard card.
Okay. Quentin sharing his goal. So, man, it's a nice goal to have. Quentin's goal is to both kill Oko and the food that Oko produces. Unfortunately, this sword gives protection from black and red, neither of which are colors that Oko is or elks are.
Yeah, and you can turn the creature into an elk too.
Yep, or the sword into an elk.
Yeah.
You know. But a cool card nonetheless. And certainly, if Quentin can get rumbling with this sword, it's gonna be difficult for Vinny to actually kind of establish a board presence. Although, man, these protection colors are pretty medium here.
I mean, black's all right, and red's pro bolts. I don't know. They're good maybe at protecting the creature, but against spot removal, but maybe bad for like attacking. Oh, and we're stuck on 2 again. That's not great.
Well, we can get a sword in play and put it on a Stoneforge Mystic, so that is a thing that can happen.
And I think we had the combo. Yeah, I got the combo locked up in Vinny's hand.
But we're gonna see this sword equipped. Oh no, we're gonna see a pithing needle on Sword of Sinew and Steel, and that's gonna insulate Vinny. Gonna be a little sad if Quentin's stuck on 2 lands for both games.
I'm not sure. I guess you're afraid of Teferi, and so that's why you grab that sword. It's hard for me not to go to Batterskull if I'm just stuck on 2 lands, too. Having a braid. Guess the question is to a braid now or not.
I'd wait. Well, I don't know.
Then you have like Metallic Rebuke and things like that.
We also let the... Okay, interesting. So we're actually just going to hit the Thopter Foundry here.
So if you did board in something like Surgical Extraction, that's pretty sweet.
Oof. Emery... And Rest in Peace is also decent against Emery, too.
Oh.
Cast an Emery. It's just...
this is rough.
Emery was...
Oh, well, there's another one. So, Surgical or Rest in Peace would be sweet right now.
Yep.
Might want to draw one of those, Quentin.
Yeah.
Can we do it?
Yeah, probably on Rest in Peace or Bust.
That's another
I guess
braid.
we can get the Emery off the board.
Yeah, my braid gets Emery off the board.
Yeah.
Oh, and Quentin's on like Snapcasters. We have another Stoneforge there. Ooh.
We gotta do this now, right?
I would have done it.
I would have done it on Quentin's turn.
Yeah.
I mean, hard to see. Quentin doesn't have access to Vinny's hand, right? We're aware that Vinny has the sword side of the combo. But boy, is this rough. Vinny's kind of...
It's like, why should I not?
Yeah. So, okay. We are able to... So I don't think this is going to work because I think Vinny's going to be able to fetch here. Vinny will be able to fetch and sack the Pithing Needle and then still go off. And then we still go off if we're Vinny. So, yeah. So...
Well, that's a nice sound effect. We got a do 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 do. 1 million was the number called.
A million blue.
And we're gonna go to 1,000.
Don't go over 100, Vinny. Don't do it. Don't do it,
God.
Vinny.
Are we gonna break it?
We can't. If we go to triple
no.
digits, I don't know what happens. I don't know what happens if we go to triple digits. Oh God.
Wow.
Okay, it can do it.
Okay, we thought the stream might
Okay,
break.
it's good. They'll never be able to make it to 4 digits. Damn it. Quentin's just, I guess, gonna keep going up. Oh no. Okay, we only get a few numbers once we're in the 200s. We're really seeing what the stream is capable of. How much foresight did I have in graphic creation? We're just getting a couple numbers here and there.
That's interesting. Programming on this is interesting. I think you did a pretty good job.
Yeah. Well, I have to choose the size of the box that's available. That's why it goes away sometimes, as certain numbers are wider than others. And it's really riding that line. Do we know what is Quentin? What are we still playing for? If we're
I don't know. I think they want to see what the infinite combo is. Maybe I'm unsure. I mean,
oh, can Vinny just cast Tezzeret? and then just instagib. All right. What is? I love that Quentin's like still. I love that Quentin hasn't conceded. Like Vinny's like kind of enjoying himself, but he's kind of like wondering like, can I lose to something here?
Shatterstorm,
Yeah.
but he can't. I mean,
I mean, he's still
yeah,
at like
2 mana.
a bajillion life. If we get to triple digit life, I know it's gonna break it. I don't even know if they could even see it. I don't know if the numbers on their end go up that high. Okay. All right, we made it to 783 life. And Vinny takes it. 783 to 0, or negative a lot, because we could also test how much negative it goes
Well, it
to.
would be 783 minus, I think he was at 11, so that's 772 minus 14, so that's negative 758.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why Whirza is good.
Yeah, that's a combo. It's like a mid-range combo and an infinite combo.
Yep. And you get to have all the fun if you do it.
Yeah, I think the main the mistake that we saw there was not abrading the Emery on Quinton's turn. I mean, if you do that, it sucks that you haven't like added anything to your board,
Right.
and your opponent, still has some powerful stuff going on. But at least they're not going to infinite you. And so basically, if you passed to your opponent's turn and they have Emery, they're going to be able to just target whatever they want in the graveyard, even if you abrade and like upkeep, and that would allow them to cast the spell.